shows Rob muted.
I can hear you.
Okay, we're both live, Rob. We're good to go.
Okay.
Like, I don't know why, but I just double checked. We are good to go now. Both good. Audio's up and running. So let's go ahead and get this presidential video up and moving.
Good afternoon. A lot happening in the Middle East. After 13 years of civil war in Syria, more than half a century of brutal authoritarian rule by Bashar Assad and his father before him, rebel forces have forced Assad to resign his office and flee the country. We're not sure where he is, but there's word that he's in Moscow. At long last, the Assad regime has fallen. This regime brutalized and tortured and killed literally hundreds of thousands of innocent Syrians. The fall of the regime is a fundamental act of justice. It's a moment of historic opportunity for the long-suffering people of Syria to build a better future for their proud country.
Dude, did he lose his freaking mind?
I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think he really cares that much, Tardio. He's got, what, a month left?
Like, does he realize it was ISIS and everybody that took over the damn country? He's like, this is a proud moment for the Syrian people. You mean ISIS, you stupid bastard? All right, let's let it run.
It's also a moment of risk and uncertainty. As we all turn to the question of what comes next, the United States will work with our partners and the stakeholders in Syria to help them seize an opportunity to manage the risks. You know, for years, the main backers of Assad have been Iran, Hezbollah, and Russia. But over the last week, their support collapsed, all three of them, because all three of them are far weaker today than they were when I took office. And let's remember why. After Hamas attacked Israel on October the 7th, 2023, when much of the world responded with horror, Iran and its proxies chose to launch a multi-front war against Israel. That was a historic mistake on Iran's part. Today, Iran's main territorial proxy, Hezbollah, is also on its back. Only 12 days ago, I spoke from the Rose Garden about the ceasefire deal in Lebanon, a deal that was only possible because Hezbollah has been badly degraded. Meanwhile, Hamas has been badly degraded as well. Iran's own military capabilities have been weakened. Iran tried 2 times to attack Israel, and the United States and built a coalition of countries to directly defend Israel and help defeat those attacks. All this made possible for Iran and Hezbollah to continue to prop up, impossible, I should say, for them to prop up the Assad regime. Additionally, Russia's support for Assad also failed. And that's because Ukraine, backed by our American allies, has put up a wall of resistance against the invading Russian forces.
Dude, he has like
damage on the Russians.
Straight up lost his dang mind. He's got to be kidding, man. It's got to be a joke. He can't be serious. Like, we're rooting for the terrorists that are overthrowing Assad. They're both horrible human. Like, all of them are horrible people. The only people that we should be backing is the Syrian Democratic People's freaking Defense Force, whatever. The Kurds.
Can I just say this? I mean, they're honestly, they're on our side right now, so they're good people. Here in about 2 months, they'll be bad people.
Dude.
Can I just say right now, we had 2 people come in and dump 50 Truth memberships right out the gate. We have Texas Actual, who just gifted out 50 memberships. And then we also had Sky God come out and gift out 50 memberships as well. So thank you so much to both of you guys right out the gate. That's 100 memberships gifted out to the chat right out the gate.
Wow. Yeah, no, I mean, it's, they're not on our side. They're just the enemy of our enemy, but they're still our enemy. Our enemy is still our enemy. They just happen to also be the enemies of our enemy. Gosh, man.
And that has left Russia unable to protect its main ally in the Middle East. Excuse my cold. The upshot for all this is, for the first time ever, neither Russia nor Iran nor Hezbollah could defend this abhorrent regime in Syria. And this is a direct result of the blows that Ukraine, Israel have delivered upon their own self-defense with unflagging support of the United States. You know, over the past 4 years, my administration pursued a clear and principled policy towards Syria. First, we made clear from the start sanction on Assad would remain in place unless he engaged seriously in a political process to end the civil war. as outlined by the UN Security Council resolution passed in 2015. But Assad refused, so we carried out a comprehensive sanction program against him and all those responsible for atrocities against the Syrian people. Second, we maintained our military presence in Syria, our counter-ISIS, to counter the support of local partners as well on the ground, their partners, never ceding an inch of territory, taking out leaders of ISIS, ensuring that ISIS can never establish a safe haven there again. Third, we've supported Israel's freedom of action against Iranian networks.
What the hell did he just say? ISIS can't have a safe haven? They're currently, like, the old leader of ISIS is leading the dang charge.
That was a historic mistake on Iran's part.
I don't think he actually understands what's going on. To be truthful, I think a lot of people are probably under the same thing. We got a month left. That's all that really matters.
Only 12 days ago, I spoke from the Rose Garden about the ceasefire deal in Lebanon.
Yeah, we know.
A deal that was only possible because this is a direct result of the blows that Ukraine, Israel have delivered upon their own self-defense with unflagging support of the United States. You know, over the past 4 years, my administration pursued a clear and principled policy towards Syria. First, we made clear from the start sanction on Assad would remain in place unless he engaged seriously in a political process to end the civil war, as outlined by the UN Security Council resolution passed in 2015. But Assad refused, so we carried out a comprehensive sanction program against him and all those responsible for atrocities against the Syrian people. Second, we maintained our military presence in Syria, our counter-ISIS, to counter the support of local partners as well on the ground, their partners, never ceding an inch of territory, taking out leaders of ISIS, ensuring that ISIS can never establish a safe haven there again.
Yep, that's what I thought he said. This dude is smoking crack. Like, he has got, like, somebody needs to take his crystal pipe away from him. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, he had to have gotten into freaking Hunter stuff, man. Look, like, we literally just went over this, what was it, 2 days ago? I think it was 2 days ago we go over this, that he 1,000% was the former leader. And for this knucklehead to go up there and say that and be like, look, we made sure that ISIS never has a safe haven again. They are quite literally making a safe haven as we speak. Like, who do you think they're going to be buddies with, man?
Well,
most ridiculous thing ever.
I think that's why Israel's starting to step up, though, right?
Yeah. You want to hear what Netanyahu has to say?
I haven't heard this, by the way, so I'm hearing it live with everybody else. I have no idea what he's about to say.
This is a historic day for the Middle East. The collapse of the Assad regime, the tyranny in Damascus, offers great opportunity, but also is fraught with significant dangers. This collapse is a direct result of our forceful action against Hezbollah and Iran, Assad's main supporters. It set off a chain reaction of all those who want to free themselves from this tyranny and its oppression. But it also means we have to take action against possible threats. One of them is the collapse of the Separation of Forces Agreement from 1974 between Israel and Syria. This agreement held for 50 years. Last night it collapsed. The Syrian army abandoned its positions. We gave the Israeli army the order to take over these positions to ensure that no hostile force embeds itself right next to the border of Israel. This is a temporary defensive position until a suitable arrangement is found. Equally, we send a hand of peace to all those beyond our border in Syria, to the Druze, to the Kurds, to the Christians, and to the Muslims who want to live in peace with Israel. We're going to follow events very carefully. If we can establish neighborly relations and a peaceful relations with the new forces emerging in Syria, that's our desire. But if we do not, we'll do whatever it takes to defend the state of Israel and the border of Israel.
Right. So I wonder if they pulled out of that Lebanon because they kind of saw this happening and they wanted to utilize those extra forces to secure this portion of Syria.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, he saw everything collapsing. And like he said, there was like the security agreement or whatever where they were supposed to have that little buffer zone. Now the terrorists are going in and they're heading down towards that buffer zone. And it's like Netanyahu is saying the same crap that Biden is. Right? Like, it's a good thing that Assad's gone. It's a good thing. And hopefully we can have good relationships with the terrorists that are marching towards our borders. Like, if he knew they were going to have a good relationship, they would not have sent their freaking people over to create a buffer zone for the terrorists that just took over Assad's military. Like, just got control of aircraft and freaking tanks and all sorts of crap. All those chemical weapons. All of them. This is a bad day for Israel. This is a bad day for the United States of America. But, like, make no flipping mistake about it. And it's so bad. It is so bad that Assad has just fled and he made his way into Moscow. That's what Osen's putting out. That is what Joe Biden actually said. He said, we're not quite sure where he's at, but we're pretty sure they go there. And you want to know how else, like, how just like ridiculously bad it is, as we're waiting on Rob to get back in here. The Russian military. I told you guys, and I think it was Friday's video, the Russian military was fleeing south down towards Damascus, but I would be surprised if it made it through the weekend. If Damascus somehow held. And now we've got the Russian military that was abandoned, and allegedly they are surrounded on all sides, all of them, by these terrorist forces. And so while we don't give two craps about Russia, at the same time, they were also the ones that were holding them back from the border with Israel. They're still an enemy because they're supported by Hezbollah and supporting Hezbollah, and they've been working with Hezbollah. They're all enemies. But there's no good way for this to work out. And this is what, Rob, you and I were talking about just the other day.
Yeah. And we've talked about it more than once. There's no forces left inside of Syria when it comes to the Russian side, is there?
The Russians? Yeah.
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 What
they're surrounded.
I know what cities are they in?
I'm not 100% sure, to be honest with you.
Following, I'm looking right now. The naval base, Tartus naval base, and then there's an air base.
Okay.
Well, they're trying to get their S-400s out of there is what they're trying to do, it looks like, and their TOR air defense systems.
So I talked about my confidential informant the other day, right, on the inside that knows a thing or two about what's taking place over there. His big worry was that when Turkey ended up crossing the border, that they were going to end up kind of like riding basically east over towards Kurdish territory, and that they were going to be letting all these ISIS fighters out of the prisons up there in the north. Right?
Actually, yeah, I think Tartus is cleared out, by the way. I just want to go say that. I think it's cleared out.
Okay. So sorry. What if I told you that there's currently prisons that are being raided as we speak and these terrorists are being let out?
Not shocking. Not shocking in a little bit.
Ready?
No.
Like, I hope everybody hears that on the backside, because those are all people that are about to be picking up arms and attacking Israel. And I hope everybody hears it, because those are all people that hate the United States of America that are about to get let loose on the street. You know, I'm also going to add, while we sit here and watch this, I want to remind everybody too that these terrorists now, the one thing that I've been talking about that we're in great fear of, getting control of chemical weapons, very likely now have them in their possession, along with the means to deliver them. That's one prison. You want to see another one? Sorry about your ears, guys. What do you think, Rob?
Yeah, no, it got me thinking about the whole chemical weapon piece you just actually brought up. U.S. stockpiles of sarin, mustard gas, and a VX nerve agent. It's pretty much Syria had one of the largest, or has one of the largest weapons programs in the world for stockpiles of chemical weapons.
So, yeah,
I'm sure it's probably not. There's no way there's accountability even being taken place on anything like this.
No. And you got to remember that Saddam buried a buttload of his over there in the desert as well. right? But none of that matters anymore. Hezbollah, we know, has been like producing, moving things according to Israelis' intelligence as far as chemical weapons inside of Syria go, along with Russia and the IRGC. If at first it was like the IRGC that took it over from the Assad regime, and then they kind of passed it off to Hezbollah. Hezbollah was moving chemical weapons in and around, but now we've just got straight up jihadists of all different makes and models and backgrounds that are in, like, responsible for them. So to show you where that video came out of those prisons being raided, like I said, we were worried about the Turks letting loose some of these ones up here on the border, some of the ones that the Kurds held up on the border. So we're looking at Syria. Now, that prison itself that I just put up on there, it's coming just north of Damascus, right over here in this area, Sidnea. I can't even pronounce it correctly. This area right here. This is where that prison was at, allegedly, that just got raided. This one. And now I want you to look at how ridiculously close it is, number one, to Damascus, but number two, this will explain why Netanyahu's talking about wanting to go into the Golan Heights or crossing through the Golan Heights to go create this buffer zone, right? So it's literally right there.
Which he's already done, though.
Right. So this area, distance, with how quick they've been moving, 70 kilometers. About 44 miles for you here in the United States of America. 70 kilometers from that prison to the Golan Heights. That is why they cross the border. Because you have these extremist groups that just overthrew the Assad regime that are now heading down towards Israel. It is so bad. And like I said, when we were saying that Netanyahu's like pretty upset about this entire deal, right? It is so bad that the Israeli Air Force, calling it some of their heaviest attacks that they've ever launched in Syria. They've taken out dozens of aircraft with over 100 airstrikes against Assyrian army targets in rapid succession, focusing primarily on weapons, the Air Force, and aircraft. Now, why do you think they did that? I'll tell you exactly why they did this. I'll tell you exactly why. Now, all that information comes from open source.
That's an airbase right there, isn't it?
Yeah. This is why they're doing it, because those dang terrorists are getting their hands on all of that stuff. And Israel is doing its absolute best to make sure it does not fall in the hands of all of those terrorists.
Here, you ready for this? Is kind of funny. Have you read the stuff about CENTCOM yet that CENTCOM put out?
Tell me what CENTCOM said.
Do you have this pulled up on your screen or no?
No, but I can go grab it. Go ahead.
I got it. So U.S. CENTCOM, this was put out 30 minutes ago from them. They have conducted dozens of airstrikes to eliminate ISIS camps inside of central Syria. All these were, every single one of them apparently was targeted, or excuse me, known ISIS camps and operatives inside of the central portion of the country. The strikes against the ISIS leaders, operatives, and camps were conducted as part of the ongoing mission to disrupt, degrade, and defeat ISIS in order to prevent the terrorist group from conducting external operations and to ensure the ISIS does not seek to take advantage of the current situation inside of Syria. They hit 75 targets.
Dude, that's today. Insane. I've got it up on the screen now for you. But
yeah. You got it? Okay.
Oh, yeah, I put it up on the screen for everybody.
B-52s, F-15s, and A-10s. So, I mean, apparently there's no indications of civilian casualties, but I mean, I guess it's kind of hard to, because ISIS kind of look like civilians and you could deem them all to be terrorists anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
How do you get away with going, no, this is a great thing, but we're going to go ahead and knock everything out so that they don't have it?
75 targets is a lot of targets in one day.
Yeah, you want to talk about politicians doing political crap? Netanyahu and Biden both saying that this is a great day.
Yeah.
If this was a great day, neither the United States nor Israel would be taking out all of those assets that just fell into their hands. They would want to make sure that those people would keep the Syrian military at bay with whatever they could if it was a good thing. Instead, we're removing those things from them. Israel's setting up a defensive perimeter outside of the Golan Heights to make sure they don't get attacked by all of this crap. How much you want to bet that both the United States and Israel and all of those hundreds of targets, I'm sure we did hit air bases and things like that, but how much do you want to bet that we specifically went after all known chemical weapons locations? How much you want to bet?
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't know because I've never been a part of any operation like that, but yeah, I would assume so.
Well, you got to figure that the United States government and Israel both have intelligence. Whether or not we're going to share it with them or they're going to share theirs with us is one thing. But I think both Biden and Netanyahu would agree, at least not on stating in public anyways, because this is a great day for the people of Syria, right? This is a great day because Assad's gone. Meanwhile, terrorists, we just showed, are getting released onto the streets. Syria has, what did you say, Rob? The largest pile of chemical weapons?
Yes. It did. I don't know if it does anymore.
Right. So it doesn't exist anymore because Assad ran away. Right. And so now we've got the United States and Israel. And the one thing's for dang sure is that the Pentagon is consistently updating target packages. Like on a daily basis, is going to be updating target packages for scenarios like this. And when we saw that crap coming, I promise you that we took every ounce of intel that we had and we started developing targeted packages and we started moving weapons, munitions, and all of that stuff over there, getting ready for it to happen. Now, what really, really troubles me about all of this is, do you remember, I don't know, I think it was like a month ago when we started influxing a mass amount of like troops into Syria and like the Middle East and everything else and sending all sorts of crap over there? And we actually moved a bunch of, I think it was like F-15 Strike Eagles over down into Jordan and all of that crap happening. I feel like this was very well orchestrated by the governments, if I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, not to sound like a tinfoil hat moment, but that to me tells me that the governments knew that stuff was coming. And that all those additional air assets that went over there were to action the targets that we just talked about in the event, which they knew was coming, that the terrorists ended up taking over, which they just did. And there is not
happy about it. I'm happy about it. And it's kind of funny is Trump actually did say something yesterday about letting our enemies, so X is our enemy, Y is our enemy, so why even get involved? Just let them fight. That's actually
100% what I was saying. Minus make sure they don't get the crap, right?
Yeah, that's literally what he said yesterday. X is our enemy, Y is our enemy, so why even get involved? Just go and let them fight. Let them duke it out. I mean, it is what it is. It's a little different than the whole Russian-Ukrainian deal.
It's way different. It's 10 times different. Thing. Ukraine, we can actually count on to be our friends.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
Go. You want to read that? You want to go through the comments and stuff real quick, man? Because I'm going to cue something else up while you're doing that.
Yeah, I just saw AP Payne just gifted out 10 memberships as well. Thank you so much, AP. We have somebody, a 12-month membership. The shit show is only going to get started down from here. Finally able to catch a live. Appreciate you. See y'all. You've been around for a while. You had membership for 12 gosh dang months. My God. Linda Lou. I saw Linda come through here. How you doing, Linda? That's the same Linda Lou that helps me out on Whatnot as well.
Nice.
I think so. I don't know. Let's see what else we got. Thirsty Sloth has been here for 13 months. Appreciate you, buddy. Irish Ghost for 8. Is there any update on Russia's supposed interference in Romanian elections? I have not done a single lick of looking at the Russian-Romanian election interference.
I have not been paying attention to that either.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it'll probably take me about 3 seconds to figure it out if you'd like me to real quick. And I'm going to because you are a paid member and you want to know. It'll take me literally a few seconds.
So here's what I'm going to do. While you're looking that up, I'm going to queue up more of these airstrikes. This is the great day for Syria, the United States, and Israel, allegedly, when the terrorists are taking over Syria. But don't worry, it's not going to be a safe haven for ISIS. We're just going to make sure that they can't get any of these military weapons that we can, particularly the WMDs, i.e. chemical weapons. Sorry, go ahead, Rob.
No, I just kind of see like, yeah, there probably was. Probably a little bit of interference. I mean, you have there was a bit of social media manipulation, declassified shit that came out. There was 25,000 TikTok alones. They found out they were coordinating to amplify his entire campaign message, which is all fake stuff. Multiple cyber attacks. U.S. is also a bit concerned over the whole Romanian electoral process as well.
No way.
No, shocker. Who knows? Yeah, the Romanian right side candidate actually says that democracy has been canceled along with the election. So, yeah, they're pretty much saying it's been fake. So they're dealing with another 2020 version of us. So lucky for them.
Dude, I can't. Like my head hurts thinking about what the hell's going on over there right now. Like it seriously does hurt thinking that all of that crap is going on. It's the
first time that we don't have to do anything. We can actually just hang out and, wake up in the morning and talk about it. We don't have any of our guys being killed. We're just kind of hanging out.
Yet. The key word is yet. And that is what pisses me off about the Biden administration is it is quite literally, in my opinion, a yet scenario.
Yet is not, I mean, it doesn't really matter. You got like a month left. I would even worry about it. You got a month left, right?
Okay, so this just came through. Hold on. Let me get this. Let me get the location up on the screen before I put it. Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, it's at Tartus. It's at the naval station.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it up on the map so that we can show it. So Russian troops now. Let me get this sucker up here. Oh, what did I do with it? Here it is. So this is Russian troops now under attack in Tartus. It is north of Lebanon. This is where they've been surrounded and abandoned. Now, to bring this up for you guys on a map so you understand where we're talking about and where all of that is going down at, I'm going to go ahead and switch you guys up over here to this view. Again, here you have Lebanon. Now, this is, again, general vicinity where we had Israel conducting airstrikes the other day, making sure that Hezbollah wasn't getting weapons and stuff like that to go in. So while we're making sure that Hezbollah is not getting their weapons, now we've got to make sure that ISIS doesn't get weapons as well. All a good day for Israel, allegedly. That is the naval area where all of that was going down at, where the Russians are at. And again, confirmed location that we know where they were at was 44 miles away from the Golan Heights. Assuming that Damascus has fallen at this point, which I think is very safe assumption. You can go ahead and cut that in half and say they're about 40 clicks at like minimum 40 kilometers away from the Israeli border. Go Golan Heights. So Israel's up over there trying to take over.
Syria's going to be the Afghanistan 2.0 is going to be it.
It's worse. In my opinion, it's worse because of the amount of, like when we left Afghanistan, we did not leave chemical weapons behind. There was fighter jets these dudes took over. There was rotary wing aircraft, like actual attack helicopters that these guys got their hands on. I had a video, I think it was like yesterday or the day before, of some of these like terrorists attempting to figure out how to spin up the dang helicopters.
Yeah.
Like immediately as it was going down. This is nuts, dude. Here you go. This is fun. We're just going to have to go ahead and mute this when I put it up. Syria's central bank has been looted.
Yeah,
Overnight millionaires. Syria's central bank's been looted. Not that the money is going to be any good anymore, because that's just completely and totally collapsed. So I hope these guys got their hands on some gold or something and some silver. And particularly if you're Kurdish in that area, I really hope you get your hands on some gold or silver so you can pay the damn jizya that they're about to freaking impose on everybody. You better have some gold or silver. I'm telling you right now. Yeah, I know the video's muted. It's because I don't want to listen to this stupid music that's about to be playing over it. Like, it's just obnoxious. Oh, dude, what a freaking sad day.
I mean, I don't know if I call it really sad.
Sure. Here's Assad allegedly and his wife over inside of Russia. Just came out. How do you not call it sad?
I mean, it doesn't really affect us too much right now. And we're not none of our people are being killed.
Yet. Using the word yet. Mark my words. Unless Biden pulls his head out of his butt and does some serious freaking air support for like U.S. troops over there in the Kurds, like the Kurds are pushing through. We saw it the other day. I'd really like an update to know what the hell the Kurds are doing and to see where they're at and what they're doing while Assad is busy over hiding inside of Russia. But this isn't good, dude, at all. Like, I can't believe that he could have, like, and when I say he, I'm talking about like the Biden admin. I can't believe that they could have possibly screwed this much stuff up in such a short time frame. Well,
Runasaur didn't screw anything up, though. He just gifted out 10 memberships. It makes you feel any better.
Dude, it does. It does. It really does make me feel better. But at the same time, Rob, I'm going to be honest, man. I mean, how do you get away with saying something is really good when all of this is taking place?
Well, I mean, you got to leave your presidency, with something, right? That's just me.
Hasn't he had enough failures?
No, not enough. He hasn't had enough. You only have to have a...
Is he really dumb enough to think that the American people are going to be like, oh, terrorists are taking over Syria? That's great news, man. That's awesome. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of like the power vacuum after freaking Saddam Hussein got ripped out. And we saw how bad that went. And in my opinion, it's going to be 10 times worse than that. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. This is great. Here we go. This is a good one. This guy's excited because he just got let out of prison.
Yeah, you know, you're kind of right. He does remind me. That's got some vibes of early Iraq.
I am 1000%, dude.
It's got.
I
some
am not
early
making
Iraq
this stuff up
vibes right now.
I've been in prison for 10 years. Yay. Dude, you gotta be kidding me, man. Probably one of the craziest things, just to bring this up for everybody. I think I have it on here. Here it is. Let me get this up for people. This is, I think it's probably one of the most nice little demonstrations of videos that I've came across. So I'm going to explain it to you. Red is Assad. Green is the, how do you want to say, what they are calling the resistance movement or the resistance fighters, i.e. terrorists. And then black is the Islamic State. Yellow is the good people, the Kurds, the ones that we need to make sure win. Now, this is a time lapse of the last, I think, like 13 years or something like that, that goes in and showing like how all of this went down Civil War wise. Okay. So yellow, good, green, red, black, bad, everything but yellow, bad. Green is supposedly the resistance movement. Yellow, we've got Kurds. Now watch the Kurds up in the north and we see the resistance movement. Now, if you know where ISIS kind of got their start at, it was right around this time frame that's up here on the map currently. And if you can see the green resistance fighters and all that crap, and then you watch how ISIS just randomly springs up and starts taking over all this territory. This is what we're talking about. This is 2013. So notice how ISIS has emerged. It emerged right out of the middle of there. And it's going to continue to advance and advance and advance until U.S. intervention comes into play, right? So there you got ISIS in black taking everything over. Bam, look at that shit. Look at that. Show you how big of an issue it is. And this is why ISIS and these resistance groups have all of these ties together, because of this right flipping here. Now, it's going to continue to advance. We still got about 10 years to go, but that's how much ISIS had like taken over there. A buttload. And they're going to continue to advance and continue to advance until U.S. intervention kicks in right around 2016-ish. And then we ought to see them going back down. Now, when I say 2016-ish, remember what happened in 2016? Going into 2017? What happened back then, Rob? Oh, did we have an election back then? Some new president had came into office, something like that. So now we see Kurds advancing, a lot of Kurds advancing. We see a lot of freaking ISIS getting their freaking teeth kicked in. We see all that crap happening. Wait for it. I'm just going to let it play. I'm just going to let it play out because it's about to happen. So again, underneath Trump's presidency, you can see good. ISIS at least getting crushed. Kurds taking territory. These are all good things. Good things that are taking place. Now, ISIS, as it slowly disappears, guess what you're about to see reappear? You're green. Because it's not like ISIS collapsed and everybody was like, well, no more jihadi movement. I guess I'll go home now. Nope. They just started fighting underneath a different flag.
AP Payne just gifted out 20 memberships.
Heck yeah, dude.
Saw that,
all right.
saw that roll through. Thank you so much, AP.
So you watching? Because now we're going into 2021. Who just took over? Wait for it. And then magically, right around, I think it was this time, roughly, right around roughly this time, right, is where we started to see, let me fast forward a couple months here. This is about where we started seeing like U.S. forces started to flex to the region and all of that stuff, and all the coalition troops and everybody go over there. We're assuming it had to do with Israel. We're assuming it had to do with everything else. Bam. Now we've got 100% takeover by ISIS sympathizers, former ISIS fighters, former ISIS leaders, former ISIS everybody, and they're looking at it and trying to paint it out to be a good thing. So who's left over there? The freaking Kurds. That's it. Now, how much of that yellow do you think is going to last under the Biden administration? He's got a month to go.
I don't know. I'm not really even worried about that, to be truthful.
Why?
I know because I know what's happening in a month and 12 days from now, 42 days from now. I think the whole world kind of knows it.
Okay, and
Now,
if we were to go back 30 days, what did this look like?
No, I understand, but I mean, he also said the X and Y are fighting and X and Y are enemy, not just let them just keep fighting each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, do you really think that he's going to want to put boots on the ground to go get rid of another cesspool of terrorist organizations that are flowing around the Middle East?
He is forced to now. He's forced to now.
Or he might just use a bunch of airstrikes and not put a ton of dudes on the ground.
Well, one, we already have people on the ground. And
And
two,
but we don't have a significant force on the ground.
We're about to. I'm telling you, those chemical weapons is a very real issue. And the moment Intel networks start to get reestablished here, because it's going to take a second, but the moment those Intel networks get reestablished, his hand's going to be forced. I'm not trying to be a doomsday, anything like that, but I'm telling you right now, it looks like we're about to get our butts back involved in the Middle East because of this. And you guys can mark my words here today on this live session that I said it. Trump's going to get in office, and just like I talked about, he has to deal with his advisors. He has to. And he's very good at listening to his advisors. We talked about this. Very good at listening to his advisors. You saw him put the right man in the position for Ukraine. And when all this intel gets dumped on him about the Middle East, and he gets told that WMDs are about to hit the streets and start making their way, not just towards Israel, but towards the EU and towards the United States of America, because of these jihadists right here, who he did his best to keep under wraps. If we're to go to 2020, they're under wraps.
Yeah.
They're all under wraps. You got the Kurds, got them surrounded up over here on this front, which, by the way, now we've got Turkish troops and all that crap, but they were pretty much held under wraps. Enter Biden. So he was in the right place with the right information years ago when he looked at it and was like, you know what, we could probably pull U.S. troops out of there. We got to worry about the Middle East. We got to worry about like our troops up on the border. We got to worry about he was in the right frame of mind back then.
I don't think there's really any winning in this situation at all, ever.
Right. Now
when it comes to the Middle East, I just don't think there's a winning scenario for us.
Bingo. That's how it's set up. It just got set up that way.
It just isn't a winning scenario.
No, because who else are we going to put in power over there? I mean, if we want to be realistic here, the Kurds need their own state. If anybody needs their own state out of this crap, it's the damn Kurds. That's who needs it. If they give the Kurds their own area, we'll be good to go. Give them all of Syria, for all I care about. Give them half of Syria. Give them the part that's just sand and freaking rock. Doesn't even have to be a building out there. Give them that. That will help stabilize it. But I promise you, over the next month, their next target, because Israel looks like it's going to have a very firm defense along the Golan Heights, their next target is going to be marching on the Kurds.
Who?
These freaking jihadists that are over there that just overtook Syria.
I know, but the way you laid that out, I thought you were talking about Israel would march on the Kurds.
No. These jihadists are about to go march on the Kurds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That and the Christians.
Yeah.
Which they're not a significant population over there. I think it's like less than 1%, but
correct. And why is that?
What it is.
And why is that?
It's been a religious war ever since the beginning of time.
Because the dang jihadists. That's what I'm saying. You better make sure that you've got your gold and silver handy if you live anywhere in that yellow territory and you're a Christian. Or if you're like you're Kurdish or any of that, better make sure you have gold and silver at hand, because they're about to force you to pay damn jizya. I promise. This is ISIS rebranded And Joe Biden's trying to paint him in a good light.
Someone states that Israel's planning a large-scale invasion into Syria. I don't think that they're going to be going deep into Syria.
Well, what Israel needs to set up that dang blocking position. They need to create a buffer zone. That's what Netanyahu was talking about. So that's what they're going to be doing. Like when we look at it.
Yeah, definitely. This wasn't started by Bush. I know I saw somebody said it started by Bush. This was started when I was about to make a joke, like when we're still riding on donkeys, but they're still riding on donkeys over there. This was started 10, I don't even know, 10, I'm trying to think.
12, 13 years ago?
No, way
roughly.
Longer. I'm talking
when
about
you and I were in Iraq, this stuff crap was going on.
I'm talking about like the Middle East drama has been going on since Jesus. Oh. So I don't even know. Forever.
You mean since Muhammad?
No, not since him. Yeah, I guess.
Last I checked, Jesus didn't go around graping and pillaging.
Well,
and you couldn't consider Jesus a warlord last time I checked.
He was inside this area. Jesus was roaming the hills of this area.
Sure. I am so over it. He was definitely roaming this area. Let's not lie, right? 100% fact.
Him, the Romans, who else was roaming this area? God bless the Muslims.
But they weren't there when Jesus was, because Muhammad didn't come around till 560-ish years after Jesus. And he started his happy butt all the way down here.
Who was it? It was
in Saudi Arabia.
They were called something else.
He started all the way down here.
The Persians. Thank you.
The
Persians. That's what I'm thinking about.
Well, here's how it is at the end of the day. Like when we end up looking at this. Ottomans. There we go.
There we go.
So at the end of the day, this is what Israel's got to worry about. They got to worry about the Golan Heights, and they got to worry about this buffer zone of them pushing through and attempting to come out here. Because I bet you the next thing that they're going to want to do, all of these jihadists, is liberate Judea and Samaria, i.e. the freaking West Bank, the Golan Heights, all of that crap. That's where they're going to want to go.
Yeah.
Why, Rob? You brought it up. Religion. And so Israel's got to go over there and they got to defend that stuff and make sure those jihadists don't come pouring in. Facts.
How you feel about your life?
I feel like I just glanced down at the comment section. They said, read the super chats. Do you want to
I literally just saw that as well. Tyler, read the last 10. Okay. Well, I haven't done that. Missing all my super chats. Well, fuck us. Okay. Andrew James, till we wake up one morning and Congress reinstates the draft saying national emergency. I think he's talking about we have no issues here in America. Thanks for donating $10. Tiller, he donated $10 as well.
What's that? Did he just ask if they're going to institute a draft because of a national emergency?
No. It's not going to happen. I mean, it's what he was saying. We're going to have a bad time and people are going to die, whatever. Tiller, he's going to be heading to Ukraine. He needs to pay for a new kit. Would love if I got some support from the gang. I donated my entire kit when I came home last. Tiller, I'm going to go ahead on a limb here and say that our good friend Texas Actual can really help you out significantly with getting anything you need for Ukraine, like 100%. Texas is pretty much the big dong of this chat. Like he flops that thing out on the table all the time. He knows everybody. So.
Yeah, I might have a plate carrier, but at the same time, I might need that plate carrier, so I would donate it, but I think I might need it here in the near future. So I can't.
The only plate carrier I have is from Afghanistan. So, and that one just sits on my shelf, and I just look at it and remind me of times when I wasn't a little bitch.
Yeah.
I'm actually looking at it now.
Rob, how would you feel if I went into Ukraine and streamed with Chosen Company and we did the live stream with Chosen?
You were supposed to. I think you were supposed to be over there with Texas. You know, Texas is supposed to be over there just rubbing nipples and weird stuff like that.
I'm kind of waiting on some things to get in line, and I'm actually starting to think that might be the direction I want to go. But I'm sorry, you need to finish I'm sorry.
I didn't do anything. You're doing big things. We wanted to talk about this. We talked about it. Do we have anything else you want to rip through before tomorrow? Because I think tomorrow's going to be kind of a heavy hitter. So.
No, tomorrow's going to be a heavy hitter. There's going to be a lot of information and stuff like that's just going to be unfolding. That is the bulk of it. Israel has, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a massive freaking crossing and we start getting videos of stuff like that out. I am not going to be surprised with the amount of jihadists that hit the street, and I'm not going to be surprised with an uptick in airstrikes, particularly up in the north because of where that territory was at. Give me one sec here. Let me put this up on the screen because it absolutely matters. Let me get this map up here. So the Kurds the other day, this is not the one that I wanted to show, but it's pretty dang close. So pretty much all this crap now belongs to the terrorists minus what's over in the yellow. And so I wouldn't be surprised if we see a massive uptick in airstrikes up here in the north and also down here in the south. If we see a buttload of them essentially creating a, what do you want to call it, Rob? A terrain denial fires, basically. Like Israel and the United States are going to create a buffer zone. If they try to advance towards the Golan Heights, I wouldn't be surprised if we just start bombing the crap out of them. I wouldn't be surprised if there's like talks in some way, shape, or form trying to tell them do not advance further south. Any freaking jihadists that we see advancing south, I don't care if you call yourself a freedom fighter, you're going to get turned into freaking moon dust. I'm pretty sure that's what's about to happen. And so all of the airstrikes and stuff, I expect to see them drop off unless they decide that they're just going to like meat wave their way through it. If they meat wave their way through it, that's when we're going to start seeing Israel start advancing all those tanks and shit. It's not a far drive for them. They can make it pretty quick. Dude, which by the way, I can't talk about like the actual operational capabilities of tanks and like how far they can actually go. But do you remember how short of a distance it actually is? That like it's absurd. It's not nearly as far as you would think. The Abrams tank, one of the things I will never forget about the Abrams was the tankers telling us it takes 5 gallons of JP8 just to turn the thing over.
Turn it on. Yeah, I remember that.
Just to start her up takes 5 gallons of JP8. So I want you to picture that in your head and then start thinking about how far can these things realistically travel without a huge supply chain behind them. It's not that far. Anyways, I would expect to see a lot of armor and everything like really start pushing across the border and start moving up over in that direction. But the problem is that Israel is now, you know, fighting over inside of the Gaza Strip. They're worried about the line on the Lebanese border. And now they're worried about the jihadists pouring across into the Golan Heights and going to liberate Judea and Samaria.
You ready for this? It has a 500-gallon tank and it only gets 1 gallon per mile.
It has a how many gallon tank?
500. And it gets 1 gallon per mile, but its operational range is only 265 miles without resupply.
That's open source information, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. And I heard it was less.
It's a logistical challenge is what it is.
It's a nightmare is what it is.
Also, this is under optimal conditions. This is not under. So how about we cut that sumbitch in half? You're looking at like 150 miles of operational range. That's to and from.
Not to mention, you know, once it's started up and it's running, they pretty much leave them running constantly.
Yeah, all the time.
It's
like a cop car. Never turn that sumbitch off.
Pretty much like a cop car. You're right. Just got to run, stop, and it just goes. You know what I mean? It's, dude.
Isn't it kind of funny that you can actually, if someone even didn't know this, but you actually hop in any military vehicle and there's no key.
You got to know. You got to know where the kill switch, like that's why they started putting kill switches and stuff like that.
No keys on anything. So it's funny.
Right. Yeah. You got to know. I mean, there is like a little bit of a sequence, I suppose, to it, but yeah, you can pretty much steal whatever the hell you want. Funny thing about cop cars too. You got a key, you got a key. So.
And he meant JP8. JP8's, MoGas and JP8's like diesel and MoGas is just regular fuel. I don't know why it's called that.
JP8, it's got like a different mixture to it.
And
like
it doesn't catch fire. It's really hard to catch fire.
Well, diesel's
diesel in general. Yeah, I guess is really hard.
Diesel's
we used to burn our poo-poo.
Well, diesel's design, the way it's designed for like an internal combustion engine, if you will, right, is combustion through compression, right? The heat and friction from the compression of the diesel fuel with the proper mixture of oxygen allows it to combust.
Dude, JP8 is jet fuel. Didn't know that.
So,
did you know that? I learned something new today. JP8 jet fuel. All right, I'm done.
All right. You ready? Are you good?
I'm good, buddy. I'll see you guys in the morning. I love all you guys. Go have fun tonight. Go